Hey family, Eve here. So family, today the video that I'm about to create, I'm going to title it, You Have the Right to Remain Silent. But before I get started, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. So let's get started. So family, if you're familiar with the police and the judicial system, you know when the police come to arrest you, he's supposed to read you what they call the Miranda rights, which let me tell you what it says. It says, you have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law. You have the right to an attorney. If you cannot afford one will be provided for you. So family, the word Miranda means admirable, wonderful, or worthy of admiration. It stems from the Latin word mirare, meaning to wonder at or to admire. So family, if when you go before the police and they say these things to you, why then was Jesus taken by the Roman soldiers who were the police at that time, put before the Sanhedrin council, who were the judges at that time because they administered the law, and forced to stand trial, convicted, and crucified? But he said not a word. So if he didn't say nothing, what did they use against him? Let's read the book of Matthew, chapters 26, 55 through 66. And it says, in the same hour, said Jesus to the multitude, are ye come out as against a thief with swords and staves for to take me? I sat daily with you teaching in the temples, and ye laid no hold on me. Meaning he wasn't, what you coming at me like I'm a thief, but you trusted me before. He's 56 says, but all this was done that the scriptures of the prophets might be filled. Then all the disciples forsook him and fled. And they that had laid hold on Jesus led him away to Caiaphas, the high priest, where the scribes and the elders were assembled. But Peter followed afar off unto the high priest's palace, and went in and sat with the servants to see the end. Now the chief priests and the elders and all the council sought false witness against Jesus to put him to death. 60 says, but found none. Yea, though many false witnesses came, yet found they none. At the last came two false witnesses. 61 says, and said, this fellow said, I am able to destroy the temple of God and to build it in 3 days. And the high priest arose and said unto him, answerest thou nothing? What is it which these witness against you? He's saying, you ain't going to answer? You ain't going to say nothing? But 63 says, but Jesus held his peace, and the high priest answered and said unto him, I adjure thee by the living God, that thou tell us whether thou be the Christ, the Son of God. Jesus said unto him, thou hast said, meaning you said it, you must know. Nevertheless, I say unto you, hereafter ye shall see the Son of God sitting on the right hand of power and coming in the clouds of heaven. Then the high priest rent his clothes, saying, he had spoken blasphemy. What further need have we of witnesses? Behold, now ye have heard his blasphemy. 66 says, what think ye? They answered and said, he is guilty of death. Now, you see, they ready to crucify. But when Jesus mentioned in verse 64, he says, hereafter shall ye see the Son of Man sitting on the right hand of power and coming in the cloud of heaven. He telling them he's coming back to judge them. See, in 55, he said the prophets, the word of the prophets had to be fulfilled. So what happened to Jesus had to happen so that so the prophecy could be fulfilled. Now he said he's going to come in 64. He said he's coming in a cloud. Having the right hand of power, meaning God gonna give him the power to judge. His Father has given him power to judge. He's coming from heaven to do this. So you remember, and when I did one of my videos, my last videos, I was talking about Noah's sons, and I told you that God told him, he said that every man's blood he was gonna require of their hands. In Genesis 9, 5, and 6 says, and surely your blood of your lives will I require. At the hand of every beast will I require it. And at the hand of man, and at the hand of every brother will I require the life of man. Whoso sheddeth man blood, by man shall his blood be shed. For in the image of God he made. So didn't they shed Jesus' blood? So Jesus is going to come back and judge them for his bloodshed and the shedding of blood that they did throughout time. The book of Jude, chapter 1, 14 and 15 says, and Enoch also, the seventh from Adam, prophesied of these, saying, behold, the Lord cometh with 10,000s of his saints. 15 says, to execute judgment upon all, to convince all that their ungodly deeds, which they have ungodly committed, and all of their hard speeches, which ungodly sinners have spoken against him. So Guess what? That's what time we're in. He's coming back. He's back to judge for the bloodshed that man has done. So family, with that being said, I thank you guys for visiting my video.